Once you've imported your priced items in from your pricing library, they will have rates within the build-ups. These rates can be adjusted, and you can adjust the rate, the constant, or any other element of the resource. To access the rate build-up screen, simply double left click on the rate box and then highlight the elements that you are wanting to change, and using the numpad type in or overtype on the relevant columns. If you change a rate at this point, if it's a standard rate type, it will change that rate for all of that resource based on the code within the estimate itself. To add a resource in that isn't in the list, or if you have created a priced item, you can right click in the lower screen or in the resource screen and select add resource to build up. From here you have the option for your sample library or your pricing library. You have the job library on the next tab and the scratchpad. If you're on this screen and you can't see all the resources, please click on the File button and select Display All Resources. When you've selected the resource itself, you can either left click, drag and drop the resource into the lower screen. Alternatively, you can double left click on the resource to add it into the resource buildup. From here you can then add in the constants and make adjustments to the rate itself. Once a resource is added into the estimate itself, it becomes a estimate resource. So you'll notice that the change that I make to the rate of that resource for the hollow blocks that I've put in, if I select another item and add in the hollow blocks again from the pricing library, that the rate itself is the rate that's already within the estimate. These rates can be adjusted here on the lower screen. Alternatively, if you select the job library, you'll see the job resource is now been added here. Any changes you make to the resources within the job itself will not automatically update the pricing library. To do this, you need to exit out of the estimate itself and access the library menu and go to resources to adjust those rates. You can also add a resource into the job itself, so if it is not in the pricing library and you're wanting to add a resource in, this is where you select the job library option, select the type from the type menu and go to the plus button to add the resource in and pop a description in as well as a unit and the rate. This will then add it to your job library resources, and again you can then select this to add it into the resource buildups. You can delete resources out of your job library by pressing the delete button. However, you will be blocked of doing that if the resource is currently within use within the project itself. The scratchpad is particularly useful for items that you're going to want to use on other jobs, more so for things like ironmongery, where you have a non-standard type that you're having to type in. You can type in the description and select non-standard rate. You'll notice that this rate type is highlighted in pink, and this allows you then to add the resource into multiple locations, and this resource can have a different rate against each item.